You know, every so often in the tech world, the biggest stories pop up in the most unexpected places. And today, we're not talking about some massive company launch. Nope. We're looking at a brand new, totally free app for the Unraid community that didn't just get released, it absolutely exploded onto the scene.
And look, that's not me exaggerating. For a really niche app in a deeply nerdy corner of the home server world, this thing made a surprising amount of noise. Instead of the usual quiet, "Hey, thanks," it kicked off the kind of community buzz you'd expect from a major platform update.
So yeah, that's the big question, right? This wasn't some slick corporate push with a marketing budget. This was a passion project that just instantly grabbed everybody's attention. So what exactly went down here?
I mean, the difference is pretty wild. The developer probably expected a super quiet release, maybe a couple of bug reports trickling in. What they actually got was a whole community rushing to the App Store, creating this genuine wave of excitement. For a small indie tool like this, that kind of reaction is, well, it's pretty much unheard of. So what even is this app? Well, Unraid Manager is basically what a ton of hobbyists have been dreaming of for years. It's a clean, native way to check on your servers, manage your Docker containers, and, basically make sure your home lab isn't on fire, all from your phone. It is a massive quality of life upgrade from trying to pinch and zoom your way through the web interface on a tiny screen.
All right, so the story behind the app is just as cool as the launch itself. This wasn't some big team effort or a corporate-backed project. This was the result of one person's dedicated, quiet work.
And here he is, the developer, who goes by Drunkpacman. For over a year, he was just quietly building this thing, getting feedback from a small circle of testers. This wasn't some weekend hackathon project. This was a long-term labor of love.
This right here, this quote says it all. The developer's attitude was just so refreshing. There was no marketing spin, no push for subscriptions, just this totally honest, hey, I built this because I wanted it, maybe it can help you too.
But then came the one little detail that, set the forums on fire and kind of split the community right down the middle.
So here's the deal. The app launched exclusively for iOS, and the developer was totally upfront about why. He doesn't own any Android devices, and he built the app natively in Swift for the platform he actually uses. It's a perfectly logical explanation, but as we all know, the internet doesn't always run on logic.
And yep, right away you got comments like this. It's just a simple, resigned sigh from all the Android users who are just as hyped for a native app. You can almost feel the letdown through the screen. And then, of course, came the sarcasm. This comment just perfectly nails the energy of the online platform wars, that half-joking, half-serious outrage that a free gift wasn't perfectly tailored just for them.
But you know what's cool? It wasn't all doom and gloom. The more helpful side of the community showed up pretty fast, with Android users pointing each other toward other options. A lot of people recommended an app called NZB360, saying it has some Unraid support and could be a decent substitute.
Okay, so platform debates aside, this was still a version 1.0 release, and anytime you launch a new app into thousands of different, unique server setups, there are going to be bugs. But how the community handled it, that was really something else. And get this, some of the bugs were actually kind of fascinating. We're talking about false warnings that could give a server owner a mini heart attack, or the app accidentally waking up sleeping hard drives, which, for efficiency nerds, is a cardinal sin. But none of them were deal breakers, just the kind of quirks you expect from brand new software.
Okay, so check this out. This whole Tailscale thing is a perfect little story of how they work together. Users trying to connect with this popular tool, Tailscale, kept getting connection failures. It wasn't obvious why, until the community just figured it out as a team. You just had to toggle HTTPS on. That tiny piece of info then got passed around, helping everyone else out.
And that's really the key here, isn't it? The whole tone of the feedback was collaborative. Instead of angry demands, it felt like a big group of beta testers all working together, saying, hey, here's a weird thing I found. It was just positive, helpful, and all about making the app better.
All right, let's zoom out for a second, because this little app, it actually signals something way bigger for the entire Unraid ecosystem.
See, you gotta understand, an app this slick just couldn't have existed a few years back. The fact that it's here now is solid proof that Unraid's API has finally gotten good enough for independent developers to build really powerful, polished tools on top of it. And that is a huge milestone for the whole platform.
But mature doesn't exactly mean perfect. For a lot of people, this app was the very first time they'd ever even created an API key. They were running into weird errors, and they even discovered that the official link to the documentation was case-sensitive. It just goes to show the ecosystem is still pretty new, which honestly makes a polished app like this even more impressive.
And yeah, just to bring it all home, let's not forget the scale of this whole thing. This polished app, navigating a new API, handling all the community feedback, the whole platform debate, all of it came from the work of just one person, coding in their spare time.
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. This solo project basically turned on a light in a room that many people didn't even realize was dark. It just set a completely new bar for what's possible. So if one developer can create a tech thunderbolt like this in their spare time, what amazing tools are the rest of the community going to build next? For Unraid users, the future just got a whole lot more interesting.